Balancing the scale, the choice, the courage, and the cost of change. Welcome to the Rewired Leader Podcast. And today's episode is a special reflection for International Women's Day. Now, every year we celebrate progress, we celebrate achievements, we celebrate strengths and resilience of women across the world. And rightly so. But today, I want to have a slightly different conversation. Not just about what women have achieved, but about what it has taken to get there. Because every success, there's a scale behind balance, a consistent weighing of choices, priorities, expectations, and identity. And if you ever felt like one part of your life is thriving while another is quietly asking for attention, you're not alone. Because balance was never about everything being equal. It's about what you choose to carry and what you're finally ready to put down. Before we talk about balance, we need to understand the scale itself. Because many women didn't design the scale that they are trying to balance. On one side, there's ambition, career, leadership, and success. And on the other, there's family, expectations, relationships, and identity. And somehow in between, there's this quiet, constant pressure to do both and to do both well. If you're honest, that alone can feel like a full-time job, isn't it? So we stretch, we adjust, we keep things moving, but rarely we do stop and ask ourselves, is this even the right scale for me? Whose expectations are you trying to balance on your scale? Every shift begins with a choice, but not the loud and the visible kind. The quiet ones. The ones that sound like, I can't keep doing things. Something needs to change. I need to choose differently. And every time you make a choice, something in the scale shifts. One side rises and the other lowers. And sometimes that shift feels exciting, and sometimes it feels like everything just became a little more complicated. But that's the nature of balance. It's not still, it moves. So, what decisions are you delaying? Because you know it will shift your scale. So now let's talk about courage. Because choice without courage stays in your mind. We often think courage will feel strong, clear, certain. But the real courage feels really uncertain. It feels like moving forward without knowing exactly how things will unfold. It's speaking when your voice isn't steady. It's setting boundaries when you are used to saying yes. And if you ever made a bold decision and then immediately questioned it, that's not doubt, that's courage in motion. Because courage is not about certainty, it's about movement, despite uncertainty. Where in your life is courage required, but comfort is still leading? Now let's talk about the part we don't often say loud, the cost. Because every change, every decision, every act of courage comes with something attached to it. Sometimes the cost is comfort, sometimes it's relationships, and sometimes it's a version of yourself that you've outgrown. And that can feel difficult because even when something no longer fits, it did once. So it's that moment where you think, I know this isn't right anymore, but at least I understand it. But growth requires release, and release changes the balance of your scale. What is staying the same already costing you? At a neurological level, this experience makes sense. The brain is wired for safety. It prefers what is familiar even if it's limiting. So when you choose change, your system resists. Not because it's wrong, but because it's new. So through neuroregenesis, we understand that rebalancing requires regulation, reframing, and rewiring. Balance is not something you find outside. It's something you create within. So, what would you change if you started balancing from within instead of outside? As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to return to your skill, because balance is not about doing everything. It's about choosing what matters. Choice shifts the scale. Courage moves it, and cause recalibrates it. And the question is not, is this difficult? The question is, what happens if I don't change? Because every woman is balancing something, and at some point she decides how that scale will look. Thank you for joining me on the Rewired Leader Podcast, leading with purpose and transforming with passion. Signing off, Dr. Watceilia Varso.